In the vast, star-strewn expanse of the galaxy, where humanity's bold explorers pushed the boundaries of the unknown, Captain Alex Harlan found himself thrust into a destiny he could never have imagined. As the lead diplomat on the United Earth Federation's flagship, the Odyssey, Alex had trained for years to negotiate peace treaties with alien civilizations. But nothing in his simulations prepared him for the shimmering portal that yanked him from the bridge mid-conversation, depositing him in a throne room bathed in ethereal blue light. There, before him, stood Queen Zira of Zenthara, her white hair cascading like moonlight over her porcelain skin, her pointed elven-like ears twitching with anticipation. She was flanked by her 12 sisters, each one a vision of otherworldly beauty, their curvaceous forms draped in flowing silks that hugged every curve, revealing just enough to ignite the imagination. "Human," Zira purred, her voice a melodic echo that resonated through the chamber. "Will you marry me? And my sisters? It's our ancient tradition for forging unbreakable alliances." Alex's heart raced. This wasn't a negotiation, it was a seduction wrapped in cosmic politics, and he was the prize. The air in the grand hall of Zenthara's royal palace hummed with an electric tension, the walls pulsing with bioluminescent veins that seemed to breathe in rhythm with the queen's words. Alex blinked, trying to steady himself after the abrupt teleportation. His uniform, crisp and emblazoned with the Federation's insignia, felt suddenly constricting under the gaze of 13 pairs of luminous eyes. Zira stepped forward, her sisters, Lyra, Zara, Nara, Vexa, Mira, Ori, Luna, Sora, Kale, Naira, Elen, and Tiva forming a semicircle behind her, their expressions a mix of curiosity and hunger. Each sister shared Zira's striking features, alabaster skin that glowed faintly, as if lit from within, long, silvery white hair that flowed like liquid silk, and those delicate, pointed ears that quivered with every subtle emotion. Their attire was a blend of elegance and allure, translucent fabrics in shades of indigo and silver that clung to their voluptuous figures, accentuating hips that swayed with hypnotic grace and bosoms that rose and fell in unison, as if they shared a single heartbeat. Alex swallowed hard, his mind racing through protocols. He was no stranger to first contacts. At 35, with a chiseled jaw, piercing blue eyes, and a physique honed by zero-gravity training, he charmed his way through tense standoffs with insectoid traders and gaseous entities. But this was personal, intimate in a way that made his pulse thunder. "Your Majesty," he began, his voice steady despite the whirlwind in his chest. "I appreciate the honor, but marriage, to all of you, that's not exactly standard Federation procedure." Zira's lips curved into a sly smile, her eyes, deep pools of violet, locking onto his. She glided closer, her scent an intoxicating blend of exotic flowers and stardust, making the air around them thicken with unspoken promises. "Oh, but Captain Harlan," she whispered, her breath warm against his ear as she circled him like a predator admiring its catch. "In Zenthara, alliances are sealed not with ink and treaties, but with bonds of the flesh and spirit. My sisters and I rule as one, we share everything: power, knowledge, and now, perhaps, a mate from the stars." The sisters murmured in agreement, their voices harmonizing like a celestial choir. Lyra, the eldest after Zira, stepped forward first, her fingers brushing Alex's arm with a touch that sent sparks through his skin. "We've watched your kind from afar," she said, her tone laced with wonder. "Humans, with your unyielding spirit, your ingenuity, you conquer worlds not with claws or fangs, but with minds that bend reality." Zara, with her mischievous grin, added, "and bodies that promise such vitality." The word hung in the air, heavy with implication, as the others nodded, their eyes roaming over him appreciatively. Alex felt a flush creep up his neck, but he pushed it down, focusing on the diplomatic angle. Zenthara was a key planet in the Orion Arm, rich in quantum crystals that could revolutionize Earth's energy tech. Peace here meant prosperity for billions, but this tradition was a curveball or a trap. He glanced around the opulent room, towering crystal spires that hummed with energy, holographic displays flickering with star maps, and guards tall, ethereal beings with similar features, standing silent sentinel. No immediate threat, but the teleportation tech alone showed they were advanced. "Tell me more about this tradition," he said, buying time. Zira's hand rested lightly on his chest, right over his heart, feeling its rapid beat. "Long ago, our ancestors forged unions with wandering stars, beings from other realms. To unite clans, a consort must prove worthy by embracing all queens. It's not just marriage, it's a merging of essences, granting shared powers." Imagine, human, immortality's touch, telepathic links, the strength to command fleets with a thought. The idea thrilled and terrified him. As a kid on Earth, Alex had devoured stories of space heroes romancing alien princesses, but those were fantasies. This was real, and the sisters' gazes held a raw, primal desire that made his blood sing. Nara, the quiet one with eyes like storm clouds, leaned in. "We've waited eons for one like you, strong, clever, unbowed by the void." Vexa, bolder, traced a finger along his jaw, and handsome, so very human. The contact was electric, stirring something deep within him, a mix of adrenaline and attraction he hadn't felt since his last shore leave. But duty called. He couldn't just dive in. "What if I refuse?" he asked, though part of him didn't want to. Zira's expression softened, a hint of vulnerability flashing across her flawless face. "Then our worlds remain divided, and the shadows encroaching on Zenthara, the Void Raiders, will consume us. We need your Federation's warriors, your tech. But more, we need you." As she spoke, the palace shuddered faintly, a distant rumble echoing through the halls. Alarms? No, just the planet's natural quakes, or so he hoped. Alex's comm device buzzed in his pocket, his crew trying to reach him. He ignored it for now, drawn into the web of intrigue. The sisters closed in tighter, their presences overwhelming. Each one unique yet united. Mira's gentle smile promising comfort, Ori's fierce stare igniting passion, Luna's playful wink hinting at adventures untold. Sora whispered something in their native tongue, eliciting giggles that sounded like wind chimes. Kale's hand found his, her touch cool yet invigorating. Naira's eyes bored into his soul, as if reading his thoughts. Elen and Tiva exchanged glances, their bodies brushing against his sides in a way that was anything but accidental. Alex's resolve wavered. This wasn't just about politics, it was about connection, about humanity's place in the cosmos. He'd always been the lone wolf, charting unknown territories, but here was an offer to become part of something greater, a family of queens, a harem of stars. "Show me," he said finally, his voice husky. "Show me what this union means." Zira's smile widened, triumphant yet tender. She led him to a grand balcony overlooking Zenthara's twin moons, the sisters trailing like a comet's tail. The night sky exploded with auroras, mirroring the storm in his heart. As they stood there, hands linked in a circle around him, a surge of energy coursed through Alex, a preview of the bond, visions of battles won, loves shared, empires built. It was intoxicating, addictive, but deep down, he knew he had to play this smart. Humanity's fate hung in the balance, and he was the key. The queen's laughter filled the air as they began to share stories of their world, each tale woven with threads of desire and destiny. Lyra spoke of ancient rituals where consorts danced under starlight, bodies entwined in ecstatic unity. Zara teased about the pleasures of shared dreams, where minds merged in realms beyond the physical. Nara's voice, soft as a whisper, described the power infusions that turned mortals into legends. Vex's eyes sparkled as she hinted at the sensual feasts that sealed such pacts. Mira promised healing touches that mended wounds of body and soul. Ori's words burned with passion, evoking nights of unbridled exploration. Luna's playful banter lightened the mood, imagining cosmic honeymoons on comet tails. Sora's melodic tones sang of harmonies that bound souls eternally. Kale's grip tightened, her strength a promise of protection. Naira's gaze deepened the mystery, unveiling hidden desires. Elen and Tiva flanked him, their warmth a cocoon of allure. Alex listened, captivated, his initial shock giving way to fascination. This wasn't abduction. It was an invitation to transcendence. Yet, as the moons rose higher, he plotted his moves, use their attraction, negotiate terms that favored Earth, turn this daring request into a triumph for humanity. Little did he know, the real adventure was just beginning, with dangers lurking in the shadows and passions ready to ignite. The palace's grand halls seemed to come alive as Zira guided Alex deeper into the heart of their domain. Her sisters flowing around them like a living tapestry of grace and power. The floors beneath their feet shimmered with embedded crystals that pulsed in sync with their footsteps, casting rainbow hues across the walls. Alex's mind whirled with possibilities. He could feel the weight of history in this place, where queens had ruled for millennia, their lineages intertwined with the stars themselves. But beneath the beauty lay an undercurrent of urgency, Zenthara's vulnerability to external threats. The need for an alliance that went beyond mere words. As they entered a vast chamber adorned with floating orbs that projected holographic visions of galactic wonders, Zira turned to him, her violet eyes gleaming. "Let us show you our world, Captain," and in return, let us glimpse yours." The sisters arranged themselves on plush, levitating cushions, gesturing for Alex to join them in the center. He hesitated only a moment before sitting, surrounded by their intoxicating presences. The air grew warmer, charged with an energy that made his skin tingle. Lyra began the ritual, her voice a soothing cadence. "In our tradition, the consort must understand our essence." She placed a hand on his forehead, and suddenly, images flooded his mind, flashes of Zenthara's lush, bioluminescent forests, its oceans teeming with sentient life, and the Queen's daily lives, filled with governance, rituals, and moments of profound intimacy. Zara leaned in next, her breath hot against his neck. "And we must understand yours," she murmured, her fingers tracing patterns on his arm that sent shivers down his spine. The touch was electric, awakening sensations he'd long suppressed in the cold void of space. Alex fought to maintain composure, but the erotic undercurrent was undeniable. The sisters' bodies pressed closer, their silken garments whispering against his uniform. Nara's hand found his knee, her touch gentle yet insistent, evoking a warmth that spread like wildfire. "Humans are so responsive," she observed, her voice laced with curiosity and desire. The session evolved into a dance of minds and bodies, each sister sharing a piece of herself. Vex's laughter rang out as she described a festival where bodies painted with glowing inks intertwined under the moons, a celebration of unity that blurred lines between love and power. Mira's soft caresses on his back promised tenderness, while Ori's firm grip on his hand spoke of fierce passion. Luna's teasing whispers hinted at playful explorations, Sora's songs weaving spells of seduction. Kale's strength enveloped him in a protective embrace, Naira's gaze unlocking hidden yearnings. Elen and Tiva flanked him, their synchronized movements a symphony of allure. Alex responded in kind, sharing tales of Earth's oceans, mountains, and the indomitable human spirit. His words painted pictures of resilience, humans rebuilding after disasters, innovating against odds. The queens listened rapt, their bodies inching closer, the atmosphere thickening with unspoken invitations. As the night deepened, the line between diplomacy and desire blurred, leaving Alex teetering on the edge of a cosmic precipice, his heart pounding with the thrill of what might come next. As the night deepened, the line between diplomacy and desire blurred, leaving Alex teetering on the edge of a cosmic precipice, his heart pounding with the thrill of what might come next. The holographic orbs in the chamber dimmed slightly, casting long, seductive shadows that danced across the queen's flawless skin like whispered secrets. Zira's hand lingered on his, her touch a gentle anchor in the swirling storm of sensations, pulling him further into their world without a word of coercion. It was as if the very air conspired to draw him in, thick with the subtle perfume of their essences, notes of jasmine from distant nebulae, mingled with the metallic tang of star-forged silk. Alex could feel the weight of their collective gaze, not predatory, but inviting, a silent promise that whatever lay ahead would redefine everything he knew about connection. They moved as one, the sisters rising from their cushions with a fluid grace that made the levitating platforms sigh softly beneath them. Zira led the way through a concealed archway, her hips swaying in a rhythm that echoed the planet's distant tidal pulls, drawing Alex's eyes despite his best efforts to focus on the diplomacy at hand. The corridor beyond was a labyrinth of glowing vines that parted at their approach, revealing hidden alcoves where faint echoes of laughter and sighs hinted at past rituals. "Our bond begins with understanding," Zira murmured over her shoulder, her voice a low caress that sent a shiver down his spine. "But understanding demands vulnerability. Are you ready to bare your soul, Captain?" Alex nodded, though his throat felt tight, his body alive with an anticipation he hadn't known since his first solo flight into the unknown. The group entered a secluded sanctum, a room bathed in the soft glow of floating lanterns that mimicked Zenthara's auroras, swirling greens and purples that pulsed in time with his accelerating heartbeat. Here, the air was warmer, heavier, infused with a subtle mist that clung to the skin like a lover's breath. The sisters arranged themselves in a loose circle around a central dais, a platform of polished crystal that hummed faintly, inviting him to step onto it. Lyra, with her commanding presence, extended a hand. "Join us here," she said, her eyes locking onto his with an intensity that made the room feel smaller, more intimate. As Alex ascended the dais, the crystal beneath his feet warmed, sending tendrils of energy up his legs, a sensation both soothing and electrifying, like the first touch of sunlight after a long eclipse. The ritual unfolded slowly, suspense building like the coil of a spring ready to release. Zara, ever the bold one, stepped closer first, her fingers trailing lightly down his arm, tracing the contours of his muscles through the fabric of his uniform. "Humans are so tactile," she whispered, her breath warm against his collarbone. "We sense emotions through touch, through the rhythm of your pulse." Her hand pressed gently over his heart, and Alex felt a spark, a faint telepathic link flickering to life, sharing glimpses of her own desires. Visions of entangled limbs under starlit skies, bodies moving in harmonious waves. It was erotic in its subtlety, a tease that left him yearning for more, his skin prickling with awareness. Nara joined her, her touch on his other side featherlight, her pointed ears twitching as she leaned in. "And we give back," she added softly, her lips brushing his ear just enough to send a jolt through him. The mist in the room thickened, carrying hints of their shared essence, making every breath feel like an inhalation of pure allure. As the circle tightened, the erotic tension mounted, each sister contributing to the web of sensation. Vex's fingers danced along his back, mapping the lines of his spine with a pressure that was both exploratory and insistent, awakening nerves he didn't know could feel so alive. "Feel our unity," she purred, her voice laced with a playful edge that masked deeper hunger. Mira, gentler, placed her palm against his abdomen, the warmth seeping through his clothes like a promise of comfort intertwined with passion. Ori's grip on his shoulder was firmer, her strength a reminder of the power they wielded, yet her eyes held a vulnerability that made the moment profoundly intimate. Luna's touch was teasing, her fingers skirting the edge of his waistband before retreating, leaving a trail of goosebumps in their wake. "We share everything," she giggled softly, the sound like tinkling crystals, but her gaze was anything but innocent. Sora began a low hum, a melodic vibration that resonated through the dais, amplifying the sensations. It was as if the sound waves caressed his body from within, building a suspenseful crescendo that had him clenching his jaw to maintain control. Kale stepped forward, her body pressing lightly against his side, her curves molding to him in a way that was impossible to ignore, the softness of her form contrasting with the taut energy coiling in the air. "This is but a taste," she murmured, her hand sliding up his thigh with deliberate slowness, stopping just short of territory that would shatter the fragile line between ritual and rapture. Naira's presence was more cerebral. She cupped his face, her thumbs stroking his cheeks, and through the link, he felt her probing his thoughts, desires he hadn't voiced, fantasies of exploration that now intertwined with theirs. Elen and Tiva flanked him completely, their bodies a warm enclosure, their breaths syncing with his, creating a rhythm that pulsed like a shared heartbeat. Alex's mind raced, suspense weaving through the erotic haze. Was this a test? A seduction to bind him irrevocably? He could feel their power seeping in subtle enhancements to his senses, making every touch magnified, every glance a spark. Yet, amidst the allure, he remembered his mission: to negotiate, to turn this into an alliance on humanity's terms, but resistance was fading. The Queen's beauty, their raw, otherworldly sensuality, was overwhelming. Zira, at the center of it all, finally closed the gap, her body aligning with his front, her white hair falling like a veil around them. "Surrender to the moment," she whispered, her lips hovering inches from his, the air between them crackling with unspoken electricity. Her hands roamed his chest, unfastening the top buttons of his uniform with agonizing slowness, exposing skin to the mist's caress. The contact was fire and ice, sending waves of desire crashing through him. The room seemed to hold its breath as the ritual deepened, the sisters' touches becoming a symphony of exploration. Zara's lips grazed his neck, a featherlight kiss that promised more, while Nara's fingers intertwined with his, guiding his hand to her waist, letting him feel the silk-smooth curve of her hip. Vex's breath on his ear whispered secrets of pleasures yet to come, building the suspense until it was almost unbearable. Mira's gentle pressure on his lower back urged him closer to Zira, their bodies now pressed together in a way that blurred boundaries. Ori's hand slid down his arm, linking fingers in a grip that spoke of possession and passion. Luna's playful nips at his shoulder added a spark of unpredictability, keeping him on edge. Sora's song swelled, vibrating through their forms, heightening every sensation to a fever pitch. Kale's embrace tightened, her thigh brushing against his in a deliberate tease. Naira's mental link deepened, sharing flashes of erotic visions, bodies entwined in zero gravity, skins glowing with shared power. Elen and Tiva's embraces enveloped him from the sides, their curves a tantalizing press that made rational thought slip away. Alex's breath came in ragged bursts, his body responding despite his mental resolve. The eroticism was palpable, a slow burn that promised explosion, yet held back by the suspense of the unknown. What would happen if he fully gave in? Would it seal the alliance, or ensnare him forever? Zira's eyes met his, violet depths swirling with desire and something deeper affection, perhaps, or the beginnings of love. "This is our gift," she said, her voice husky, as her fingers traced the line of his jaw, down his throat, to rest over his heart once more. The touch ignited a fire within, the suspense coiling tighter, the erotic pull irresistible. The queens moved in unison now, their bodies a wave of sensation around him, touches lingering longer, breaths mingling, the air thick with the promise of union. Alex felt himself on the brink, teetering between duty and desire, the ritual's climax hovering just out of reach, leaving him and perhaps them aching for resolution. Yet, even in this haze, a distant rumble echoed through the palace again, a subtle reminder of the threats beyond these walls. The Void Raiders, Zira had mentioned, shadowy invaders encroaching on Zenthara's borders. Was this ritual not just seduction, but preparation? The thought added layers to the suspense, making every caress feel like a step toward an uncertain fate. As the mist swirled denser, obscuring the edges of the room, Alex surrendered a fraction more, his hands finally moving to touch them in return, first Zira's cheek, soft as velvet, then Lyra's arm, feeling the power thrumming beneath. The response was immediate, a collective sigh, a deepening of the link that flooded him with their desires, erotic and profound. The night stretched on, the sanctum a cocoon of building tension, each moment stretching the erotic suspense to its limits. Zara's lips found his collarbone, a kiss that lingered, warm and inviting. Nara's hand guided his to her thigh, the fabric parting slightly under his fingers, revealing skin that glowed faintly. Vex's whispers turned to soft moans as she pressed closer, her body a curve of temptation. Mira's healing touch soothed yet aroused, easing tensions only to build new ones. Ori's passion flared in her grip, pulling him into the circle's heart. Luna's teasing evolved into gentle bites, each one a spark of electricity. Sora's song wove through it all, amplifying the erotic rhythm. Kale's embrace tightened, her strength a thrilling contrast to the softness around. Naira's mental probes became caresses of the mind, sharing intimate thoughts that made his cheeks flush. Elen and Tiva's synchronized movements created a wave of sensation, their bodies undulating in harmony. Zira, the anchor, finally claimed a kiss not on the lips, but on his pulse point, her teeth grazing just enough to send a shudder through him. The eroticism peaked in waves, suspense holding them all in thrall, the alliance forging not in words, but in this dance of bodies and souls. As the auroras outside intensified, mirroring the storm within, Alex realized this was no mere ritual, it was a transformation, one that would bind him to them in ways he could scarcely imagine. The touches grew bolder, the links deeper, the night promising revelations that would change everything. Yet, the distant rumbles persisted, a suspenseful undercurrent hinting at dangers to come, making the erotic bliss all the more poignant, all the more urgent. As the auroras outside intensified, mirroring the storm within, Alex realized this was no mere ritual, it was a transformation, one that would bind him to them in ways he could scarcely imagine. The touches grew bolder, the links deeper, the night promising revelations that would change everything. Yet, the distant rumbles persisted, a suspenseful undercurrent hinting at dangers to come, making the erotic bliss all the more poignant, all the more urgent. Then, without warning, the palace shook violently, not with the gentle quakes of Zenthara's core, but with a force that shattered the fragile veil of intimacy. Crystal shards rained from the ceiling like falling stars, and the floating lanterns flickered wildly, plunging the sanctum into strobing chaos. Alarms wailed, a piercing symphony of alien tones that cut through the haze of desire like a blade. Zira's eyes widened, her grip on Alex tightening not in passion, but in fierce protection. "The Void Raiders," she hissed, her voice laced with a dramatic edge that transformed her from seductress to warrior queen in an instant. "They've breached our outer shield sooner than we anticipated." The sisters reacted as one, their telepathic bond snapping into action with thrilling precision. Lyra barked orders in their melodic language, her white hair whipping like a banner in the sudden wind that howled through cracked walls. Zara and Nara flanked Alex, pulling him from the dais with surprising strength. Their curvaceous forms, now shields rather than temptations. The room erupted into motion, Vexa summoning holographic shields that shimmered into existence around them. Mira channeling healing energies to mend a gash on Sora's arm from a falling fragment. Ori's eyes blazed with fury, her pointed ears flattening as she drew a concealed energy blade from her silken garb. Luna, ever the quick-witted one, darted to a console, her fingers flying over glowing runes to activate defenses. Kale hoisted Alex effortlessly over a collapsing pillar, her body a pillar of unyielding power. Nyra's mental link surged, flooding his mind with urgent visions, sleek, shadowy ships slicing through Zenthara's atmosphere like predators in the night, their weapons pulsing with dark energy that devoured light itself. Alex's heart thundered, the thrill of the moment igniting his human instincts, the same unyielding drive that had propelled his species from cave dwellers to starfarers. "What's happening?" he demanded, his voice cutting through the din as he shook off the remnants of the ritual spell. But curiosity burned brighter than fear. Who were these raiders, and why now, at the peak of their union? Zira spun to face him, her porcelain skin flushed with adrenaline, the gauzy fabric of her attire torn in places, revealing glimpses of her ethereal form that only heightened the dramatic stakes. "They are ancient scourges, nomads of the void who feed on planetary essences. We've held them at bay for centuries, but our power wanes without a true consort to amplify it. That's why we need you, now more than ever." Her words hung heavy, a surprising revelation that twisted the knife of urgency. This wasn't just a romantic ploy, it was a desperate gambit for survival. The palace trembled again, a massive explosion rocking the foundations as raider infiltrators beamed directly into the halls beyond. Screams echoed, guards clashing with ethereal foes that materialized like smoke, their forms shifting and reforming to evade strikes. Elen and Tiva grabbed Alex's arms, dragging him toward a hidden passage, but he resisted, his mind racing with thrilling possibilities. "Wait, I can help. Federation tech my ship, the Odyssey, it's in orbit. If we link your systems?" His words trailed off as a raider burst through the sanctum's doors, a hulking, shadow beast with tentacles of darkness writhing around a core of void-black armor, its eyes glowing with malevolent hunger. The creature lunged, and in that heart-stopping moment, the climax began to unfold. Zira leaped forward with dramatic flair, her hands weaving arcs of luminous energy that formed a barrier, crackling against the raider's assault. But it was too strong, pushing through with a roar that vibrated the air. Alex's training kicked in. He spotted a loose crystal shard on the floor, its edges humming with residual power from the ritual. Without thinking, he snatched it up. Channeling his human ingenuity, the kind that turned scraps into weapons, he hurled it like a spear, infusing it with a burst of the telepathic link still lingering in his mind. The shard pierced the raider's core, exploding in a shower of light that banished the shadow, leaving only wisps of smoke curling in defeat. The sisters gasped, their eyes wide with surprise and admiration. "How?" Zara breathed, her voice thrilling with awe. "No one has ever wielded our essence like that, not without the full bond." But there was no time for explanations. More raiders poured in, a thrilling wave of chaos that turned the sanctum into a battlefield. Lyra summoned a whirlwind of bioluminescent vines from the walls, ensnaring one intruder and crushing it with dramatic force. Nara and Vexa combined their powers, projecting illusions that confused the enemies, making them strike at phantoms while the real threats closed in. Mira healed a wounded guard mid-fight, her touch restoring him to full fury as he charged back into the fray. Ori's energy blade sang through the air, slicing tentacles with precision born of centuries, her curvaceous form twisting with lethal grace. Luna hacked into the palace's systems, redirecting turrets to blast incoming foes, her laughter a curious mix of defiance and joy amid the danger. Alex dove into the action, his human adaptability shining through. He grabbed a fallen raider weapon, a pulsating rifle of dark matter, and reverse-engineered it on the fly, using his comm device to interface with it. "Federation override," he muttered, curiosity fueling his thrill as he fired a modified burst that disrupted the invaders' phasing abilities, making them solid and vulnerable. Kale fought beside him, her strength complementing his strategy. She hurled a raider across the room, and he finished it with a precise shot. Nyra's mental probes revealed enemy weaknesses, hidden power nodes in their armor, and Elen and Tiva exploited them, their synchronized attacks a ballet of destruction. Sora's song evolved into a sonic weapon, shattering raider forms with high-frequency waves that made the air shimmer. The battle intensified, dramatic clashes echoing through the halls as Zira led a countercharge. "For Zenthara," she cried, her voice a rallying thunder that inspired even Alex's battle-hardened soul. But the thrilling peak came when a massive raider lord teleported in, a colossal entity of swirling voids, its presence sucking light from the room like a black hole. It targeted Zira, tentacles lashing out with surprising speed. Alex's heart clenched. In that curious split second, he realized the depth of his growing bond, the way her vulnerability pierced him. Without hesitation, he threw himself between them, the raider's strike grazing his side in a blaze of pain. But the ritual's lingering energy surged, surprising everyone. His wound healed instantly, glowing with the Queen's essence, and he countered with an improvised pulse from the rifle, amplified by the link. The Lord staggered, its form destabilizing. The sisters converged, their powers uniting in a dramatic crescendo, a beam of pure starlight channeled through Alex as the focal point. He felt their essences flow into him. Lyra's command, Zara's boldness, Nara's subtlety, Vex's cunning, Mira's healing, Ori's fire, Luna's wit, Sora's harmony, Kale's might, Naira's insight, Elen and Tiva's unity, and Zira's unyielding will. The beam erupted, thrilling in its intensity, piercing the Lord's core and exploding it in a supernova of light that banished the remaining raiders in a wave of surprising force. The palace fell silent, save for the sisters' heavy breaths and the fading echoes of battle. In the aftermath, as debris settled like fallen confetti from a cosmic drama, Zira turned to Alex, her eyes filled with a mix of gratitude and wonder. You amplified us," she whispered, the curiosity in her tone thrilling, as if discovering a new star. The surprise was palpable. No consort had ever turned the tide so decisively, proving humanity's worth in the most dramatic fashion. But the victory was bittersweet. The raiders would return, stronger, and the bond remained incomplete. Alex, clutching his side where the pain lingered as a reminder, met her gaze. "Then let's finish what we started," he said, his voice steady amid the thrill of survival. The queens nodded, their forms closing around him once more, but now with a deeper respect. The night far from over, secrets yet to unfold in this surprising saga of stars and souls. The palace's defenses hummed back to life, but the air still crackled with the residue of battle, a thrilling reminder that peace was fragile in this corner of the galaxy. Alex leaned against a cracked pillar, his uniform torn and singed, yet his spirit unbroken. The sisters gathered, their gauzy attires battle-worn but their beauty undimmed, each one touching him in reassurance, a hand on his shoulder, a brush of fingers against his cheek. Zara's eyes sparkled with curious excitement. "You fought like one of us, no. Better, how did a human channel our power without the full merging?" Her question hung, dramatic and probing, as if unraveling a mystery that could reshape their world. Alex smiled through the ache, the climax's adrenaline still coursing. "Call it human improvisation. We don't wait for perfection. We make do and win." The words elicited surprised murmurs, the queens exchanging glances that spoke volumes of their evolving admiration. Nara knelt beside him, her touch assessing his wound with a healer's care, but her pointed ears perked with intrigue. "There's more to you than we sensed. The link, it evolved during the fight." Indeed, Alex felt it, a deeper thread connecting him to them, thrilling whispers of thoughts brushing his mind, Ori's fierce pride, Luna's playful relief, Sora's harmonious gratitude, but curiosity gnawed at him too. "These raiders, who are they really?" "Not just nomads, I suspect." Zira's expression darkened, adding a layer of dramatic tension as she helped him stand. "Ancient exiles from our own lineage, twisted by the void. They seek to reclaim Zenthara's core essence, the source of our powers. Without a consort, we've weakened." The revelation was surprising, a twist that painted their request in a new light, not mere tradition, but necessity born of betrayal. Vex's hand tightened on her blade. "They've grown bolder, sensing our vulnerability. But with you," her voice trailed, thrilling with possibility. As they moved through the damaged halls, guards saluting with awed reverence, the group encountered more surprises. A holographic message flickered to life from the Odyssey, Alex's crew, detecting the disturbance, offering aid. "Captain, we've got fighters ready, say the word." The integration of human tech with Zenthara's magic sparked curious ideas in Alex's mind. "Link our systems," he instructed via comm, his voice steady. Kale and Naira worked alongside, their powers interfacing with the ship's AI in a thrilling fusion, energy beams calibrated with quantum precision, shields bolstered by ethereal barriers. The real climax surged when scouts reported a raider fleet massing at the edge of the system, an armada of shadow ships, cloaked in darkness, advancing with inexorable menace. The queen's faces paled, but Alex's resolve ignited. "We take the fight to them," he declared, dramatic in its boldness. The sisters rallied, their bond with him amplifying, surprising even themselves as human tactics blended with alien might. Boarding a royal shuttle, sleek and adorned with crystal sails that harnessed stellar winds, they launched into the void. Space unfolded in thrilling vistas, Zenthara's rings glittering below, the auroras now wore banners. The fleet loomed, a dramatic silhouette against the stars. Alex piloted, his hands steady on controls augmented by the link, Zira's guidance flowing through him like instinct. "There, the lead vessel," she pointed, her body pressed close in the cramped cockpit, the contact a remnant of earlier intimacy amid the peril. Lyra coordinated strikes, her commands telepathic bursts that directed sister ships. Zara and Nara jammed enemy sensors with illusions, making phantom fleets appear. The battle erupted in a climax of light and shadow, raider cannons firing voids that swallowed missiles, countered by human torpedoes laced with Zenthara's essence, exploding in radiant bursts. Orion Kale manned turrets, their shots precise and powerful, carving through hulls. Luna's hacks disrupted raider comms, sowing confusion. Sora's sonic waves propagated through vacuum via energy fields, shattering armor. Naira predicted moves, her insights thrillingly accurate. Elen and Tiva synchronized defenses, weaving shields that deflected onslaughts. Alex dove the shuttle into the fray, thrilling dodges through debris fields, his human agility surprising the enemies. A direct hit rocked them, but Mira's healing stabilized the hull. Then, the surprise pinnacle. Alex targeted the Armada's nexus, a massive void generator. "Overload it with our bond," he urged. The Queens channeled through him, a dramatic surge of power that made the shuttle glow. The beam lanced out, piercing the nexus in a thrilling explosion that chained through the fleet, shadows dissipating like mist in dawn. Victory washed over them, surprising in its swiftness, the remnants fleeing into the deep. Back on Zenthara, amid cheers, Zira embraced Alex, her kiss a dramatic seal not of seduction, but partnership. "You've saved us," she whispered, curious eyes searching his. "But the bond, it's only begun." The thrill lingered, surprises awaiting in the stars, humanity's ingenuity forever etched in their hearts. Victory washed over them, surprising in its swiftness, the remnants fleeing into the deep. Back on Zenthara, amid cheers, Zira embraced Alex, her kiss a dramatic seal not of seduction, but partnership. "You've saved us," she whispered, curious eyes searching his. "But the bond, it's only begun." The thrill lingered, surprises awaiting in the stars, humanity's ingenuity forever etched in their hearts. As the royal shuttle touched down on the palace landing pad, the crowd's roar swelled like a tidal wave, guards and citizens alike waving crystalline banners that caught the auroral light in dazzling prisms. Alex stepped out first, his torn uniform a badge of honor, but the moment his boots hit the ground, a wave of exhaustion hit him too, human frailty amid alien grandeur. Zira and her sisters flanked him, their white hair disheveled from battle yet somehow more alluring, their gauzy attires clinging in ways that drew every eye, including his own, which he quickly averted to avoid the brewing awkwardness. The procession through the palace gates was meant to be triumphant, but drama heightened as whispers rippled through the throng. "The human consort," one guard murmured, loud enough for Alex to catch. "He wields our essence like a born king." Another added, "But can he handle all 13 queens?" The comment landed like a misplaced asteroid, and Alex felt his cheeks burn under the scrutiny. Zira's hand slipped into his, squeezing reassuringly, but her sister's telepathic link buzzed with a mix of amusement and anticipation, flooding his mind with playful images, him juggling holographic crowns, or attempting to dance in their ritual circles with 2 left feet. He shot Zara a glance. She was smirking, her pointed ears twitching with mischief. "What? It's tradition," she teased mentally, her voice echoing in his head like a private joke. Alex stifled a groan. This bond was a double-edged sword, turning every stray thought into potential embarrassment. Inside the grand hall, now partially restored by Mira's healing weaves, cracks mending like living veins, the council of elders awaited, their ancient faces etched with solemnity. The drama escalated as the lead elder, a wizened figure with hair like frost-kissed webs, stepped forward. "Queen Zira, sisters of the throne, you bring a human into our sacred core. The raiders are repelled, yes, but at what cost? This union must be formalized, or the essence will fracture." His words hung heavy, heightening the stakes. Without the full marriage ritual, Zenthara's powers could wane again, inviting more invasions. Alex shifted uncomfortably, suddenly aware of how his human presence disrupted centuries of tradition. Lyra, ever the strategist, interjected with dramatic flair. Elder Thorn, this human has already proven his worth. He channeled our bond mid-battle, something no consort has done prematurely. The elder's eyes narrowed, curiosity warring with skepticism, but the room tensed, the air thick with unspoken questions about Alex's premature prowess. Awkwardness peaked when the elder demanded a demonstration. "Show us this bond," he intoned, gesturing to a central pedestal where a glowing orb pulsed, the heart of Zenthara, the planet's essence core. The sisters exchanged glances, and Zira nodded, pulling Alex forward. "Touch it with us," she urged softly, her violet eyes pleading, but as their hands converged on the orb, the link surged uncontrollably, flooding the hall with visions, flashes of the battle, yes, but also snippets of the earlier ritual, the erotic touches, the whispered promises. The elders' faces flushed a rare shade of blue, and one coughed awkwardly, adjusting his robes. Alex yanked his hand back, mortified. Sorry, that wasn't supposed to. I mean, human minds aren't exactly filtered." A ripple of laughter escaped Luna, the playful sister, who couldn't resist. "Oh, come on, it was just a glimpse. Think of it as educational entertainment." Her wink only amplified the humor, turning the dramatic moment into a cosmic comedy of errors, with guards stifling snickers behind their helmets. Yet, the drama refused to fade. The orb dimmed slightly, a warning sign that the incomplete bond was straining the core. Nara knelt by it, her healer's touch assessing. "We must proceed with the ceremony tonight," she declared, her voice steady but laced with urgency. The elders murmured agreement, but Alex felt a knot in his stomach. Marriage to one alien queen was daunting. To 13, his mind raced with awkward scenarios, family dinners where telepathy revealed every embarrassing thought, or trying to remember anniversaries for a baker's dozen. "Wait, tonight," he blurted, his voice cracking just enough to elicit a sympathetic smile from Sora. "Human, your timing is impeccable as always," she sang lightly, her melodic tone adding a humorous lilt that eased the tension. But Zira's expression grew serious, heightening the emotional drama. "The raiders will regroup. We need the full alliance, sealed in essence and flesh. Without it, Zenthara falls." As preparations began, the palace buzzed with frenetic energy, servants scurrying to adorn the ceremonial chamber with floating lanterns and silken veils. Alex was whisked away for grooming, an awkward ritual involving a bath in luminous waters that tingled every inch of his skin, attended by Elen and Tiva, who chatted telepathically about human anatomy with clinical curiosity. "Do all humans have such defined muscles?" Elen asked innocently, her fingers applying a glowing oil that made his skin shimmer. Alex sank deeper into the water, wishing for a black hole to swallow him. Yeah, training regimen. But could we skip the commentary?" Tiva giggled, a sound like chiming bells. "It's tradition, we must ensure you're compatible." The word hung, dramatic and loaded, but her playful splash of water turned it humorous, easing his discomfort with a splash war that left them all laughing, water droplets catching the light like tiny stars. Meanwhile, the sisters prepared in their quarters, the link sharing glimpses that only heightened the drama for Alex. Zira pacing, her mind a whirlwind of doubt and desire. Ori sharpening a ceremonial dagger with fierce intensity, symbolizing protection. Vexa practicing illusions to enhance the ritual's visuals, accidentally conjuring a holographic version of Alex in comical poses. He caught one through the bond, a buffoonish dance, and couldn't help but chuckle mentally. "Hey, that's not how I move." Vex's response was a mental wink. "Artistic license, darling." The humor lightened the load, but the underlying awkwardness persisted. How does one navigate romance with a hive-mind family? His thoughts strayed to Earth customs, simple vows, rings, cake, and contrasted them with this, wondering if he'd ever explain it to his crew without them bursting into laughter. The ceremony loomed, drama building as the twin moons aligned overhead, casting dual shadows that symbolized unity. Alex was dressed in Zenthara finery, a flowing tunic of silver threads that hugged his form, accentuating his human build in ways that drew admiring glances from the sisters. But as he entered the chamber, an unexpected hitch arose. The Odyssey's comm buzzed insistently in his pocket, his first officer's voice crackling through. "Captain, we've detected residual radar signals, and, sir, the crew's asking about your extended diplomacy. Rumors are flying." Alex fumbled the device, the holographic feed projecting briefly, his crew's faces appearing mid-chuckle. "Is that a wedding outfit?" One teased. The sisters froze, the room erupting in awkward silence before Luna burst out laughing. Human customs include holographic interruptions? How quaint. The drama spiked. Would this jeopardize the ritual? But Zira, ever graceful, waved it off with a smile. Incorporate it. Let your people witness our union. The integration added layers of humor and tension. The crew's feed linked to the orb, broadcasting the ceremony galaxy-wide, turning a private affair into an interstellar spectacle. Alex stood at the altar, surrounded by the queens, their hands linking in a circle that pulsed with energy. The awkwardness crested as the elder intoned vows. Do you, Alex Harlan, accept these queens as your eternal mates, sharing body, mind, and power? Alex hesitated, drama hanging thick, visions of domestic chaos flashing, 13 opinions on dinner, or coordinating alone time in a telepathic web. I do, he said finally, injecting humor with, but only if we agree on no mind reading during poker nights. The sisters' laughter echoed, lightening the moment, but the bond sealed with a surge of light, dramatic waves of essence binding them irrevocably. Yet, even in triumph, awkward situations lingered. Post-ceremony, as they retired to private chambers, Alex navigated the logistics of a multi-queen honeymoon. So, how does this work? Rotation schedule? He quipped, earning a playful shove from Kale. Human, always planning, just feel. The drama of their new life unfolded, Raiders' shadows still lurking, alliances to forge, but laced with humor, like when Naira accidentally projected his Earth childhood memories during an intimate moment, leading to giggles over his awkward teenage phase. You were adorable, she teased. Alex groaned, but embraced it, his human wit turning potential pitfalls into bonds stronger than stars. As the night deepened, the palace quieted, but the core orb glowed brighter, a testament to their union. Drama heightened with a final twist. A faint raider signal pinged, suggesting spies within. We must root them out, Zira declared, her embrace turning protective. Alex nodded, ready for more awkward, humorous, dramatic adventures ahead, humanity's spark igniting their eternal flame. The bond thrummed with promise, awkward entanglements weaving into a tapestry of love and power, forever altering the cosmos. As the night deepened, the palace quieted, but the core orb glowed brighter, a testament to their union. Drama heightened with a final twist. A faint raider signal pinged, suggesting spies within. We must root them out, Zira declared, her embrace turning protective. Alex nodded, ready for more awkward, humorous, dramatic adventures ahead, humanity's spark igniting their eternal flame. The bond thrummed with promise, awkward entanglements weaving into a tapestry of love and power, forever altering the cosmos. Yet, in that charged silence following the ceremony, the weight of their new reality settled like a warm veil, drawing them away from the lingering threats and into the intimate sanctuaries of the palace where the true essence of their alliance could unfold. Zira's hand lingered on his arm, guiding him through dimly lit corridors adorned with softly pulsing crystals that seemed to echo the rhythm of their shared heartbeat. The sisters followed in a graceful procession, their white hair catching the faint light like threads of moonlight, their curvaceous forms moving with a synchronized elegance that spoke of centuries of unity. Alex felt the pull of the bond deepening, a gentle current that stirred emotions and desires long held in check amid the chaos of battle and ritual. They arrived at the royal consort's chambers, a vast suite overlooking Zenthara's auroral skies, where floating beds draped in silken sheets hovered like clouds, and the air carried a subtle, inviting warmth infused with the scent of blooming night flowers from distant gardens. The doors sealed behind them with a soft hum, sealing out the world and its dangers for this precious interlude. Zira turned to Alex, her violet eyes softening with a mix of tenderness and anticipation, her porcelain skin flushed from the day's exertions. The spies can wait until dawn, she murmured, her voice a soothing melody that resonated through their link. Tonight, we strengthen our bond in the ways our traditions demand, through closeness, through sharing what makes us whole. The sisters nodded in agreement, their presences a comforting circle around him, each one radiating a unique warmth, Lyra's steady confidence, Zara's playful spark, Nara's gentle calm. It was overwhelming yet exhilarating. This shift from warriors to lovers, and Alex felt a surge of human vulnerability mingle with excitement, his body responding to the unspoken invitations in their gazes. The room's atmosphere grew more intimate as they shed the remnants of their ceremonial attire, the fabrics whispering to the floor like fallen petals. Alex's own tunic followed, leaving him exposed under the soft glow, his toned frame a contrast to their ethereal beauty. There was no rush, no awkward fumbling. Instead, the bond guided them, a telepathic harmony that made every movement feel natural. Predestined, Zira stepped closer first, her body pressing against his in an embrace that ignited sparks along his skin, her curves molding to him with a perfect fit that spoke of cosmic design. Their lips met in a kiss that deepened slowly, exploring the boundaries of taste and touch, her white hair cascading over them like a curtain of silk. The sensation was electric, a blend of warmth and energy that flowed through the link, amplifying every brush of fingers, every shared breath. Alex's hands traced the elegant lines of her back, feeling the subtle quiver of her pointed ears as she responded, her essence merging with his in ways that transcended the physical. As the kiss lingered, the sisters drew nearer, their touches joining in a symphony of affection. Lyra's strong hands massaged his shoulders, easing the tension from battle while sending waves of relaxation and arousal through him. Zara, with her mischievous energy, trailed light kisses along his neck, her breath warm and teasing, drawing soft sounds of contentment from deep within. Nara's gentle palms rested on his chest, her healing touch infusing him with a vitality that made every nerve sing. The air thickened with their combined presences, the bond weaving threads of desire that connected them all, allowing Alex to feel echoes of their pleasures as if they were his own. It was a profound intimacy, one that built gradually, layer upon layer, without haste, Vex's clever fingers exploring his arms, Mira's soothing caresses along his sides, Ori's passionate grip pulling him closer into the circle. They moved to the floating bed, a haven of softness that cradled them like a dream. Zira guided Alex down with her, their bodies entwining in a dance of exploration, her legs wrapping around him in a hold that was both possessive and inviting. The sensations were heightened by the link, every caress, every whispered endearment shared among them, creating a feedback loop of bliss. Luna's playful nature added lightness, her touches tickling sensitive spots that elicited quiet laughter amid the passion, turning moments of intensity into shared joy. Sora's melodic hum vibrated through the air, a subtle enhancement that made their connections feel like a harmonious song, bodies moving in rhythm to an unseen melody. Kale's strength provided a grounding force, her embraces firm yet tender, ensuring no one felt overwhelmed in the swirl of emotions. Naira's mental probes deepened the experience, sharing visions of affection that blended memories and fantasies, allowing Alex to glimpse the depths of their longing for a consort like him, someone who brought humanity's raw, innovative spirit into their ancient ways. Elen and Tiva, ever synchronized, flanked them, their touches mirroring each other in a way that amplified the sensations, creating waves of pleasure that rippled through the group. Alex surrendered to it all, his own desires rising to meet theirs, hands and lips exploring the smooth contours of their forms, the glow of their skin under his fingertips a reminder of their otherworldly grace. The intimacy was all-encompassing, a merging not just of bodies but of souls, where every sigh, every arch of a back, every shared gaze built toward peaks of ecstasy that left them breathless and connected on a level beyond words. Time seemed to stretch in that sacred space, the auroras outside painting the room in shifting colors that mirrored the ebb and flow of their passions. Zira's eyes locked with Alex's during one particularly profound moment, her expression a mix of vulnerability and strength, as if this union was healing old wounds for her people while forging new paths. The bond pulsed stronger with each wave, infusing them with renewed energy, a testament to the power of their alliance. Zara's whispers of encouragement added a layer of warmth, her body pressing close in ways that invited deeper exploration, while Nara's calming presence ensured the intensity never tipped into discomfort. Vex's illusions flickered briefly, enhancing the sensory experience with subtle glows and warmths that made every touch feel magical. As they navigated these uncharted territories of affection, Alex marveled at the beauty of it, the way their differences blended, his human endurance complementing their ethereal stamina, creating a balance that felt right. Destined. Mira's healing energies wove through them, mending any fatigue and heightening sensitivities, allowing the night to unfold without end. Ori's fire ignited deeper responses, her embraces passionate and all-consuming, drawing out responses from Alex that surprised even him. Luna's humor surfaced in soft teases, lightening the profound moments with gentle laughter that bonded them further. Sora's songs evolved into breathy melodies that synchronized their rhythms, bodies moving as one in a dance of unity. Kale's protective hold anchored them, her strength a reassuring constant amid the swirling emotions. Naira's insights revealed hidden desires, guiding touches to places that elicited the most profound connections. Elen and Tiva's harmony created a cocoon of shared bliss, their synchronized movements amplifying the collective experience. Throughout, Zira remained the heart, her leadership in this intimate realm as commanding as in battle, ensuring every sister felt included, every moment cherished. The peaks came in waves, each one building on the last, leaving them in a state of euphoric exhaustion, bodies entangled in a tapestry of limbs and hair, the bond now unbreakable. In the quiet aftermath, as breath slowed and hearts synced, Alex felt a profound sense of belonging. The intimacy had not only sealed their alliance but had awakened something deeper, a love that transcended species, forged in the fires of passion and trust. Yet, even in this bliss, the faint ping of the raider signal lingered in the back of their minds, a subtle reminder that their union would face tests beyond the chamber's walls. For now, though, they rested in each other's arms, the glow of the core orb mirroring the light within them, promising that together, they could face whatever the stars held. The night wore on, the auroras fading into dawn's first light, but the connections lingered, a warm afterglow that infused their every interaction. Zira nestled closer, her head on his chest, listening to the steady beat of his human heart. "This is the true power of our bond," she whispered, her voice content. The sisters murmured agreements, their touches lingering in affectionate aftercare, ensuring the experience left only positive echoes. Alex smiled, tracing patterns on Zira's back, feeling the subtle energy flows that now linked them eternally. It was a beginning, not an end, a foundation for the adventures ahead, where intimacy and alliance would intertwine to conquer the void. As morning approached, the group stirred, the bond alerting them to the palace's awakening. But before facing the day, they shared one final, tender moment, a group embrace that reaffirmed their unity, bodies pressing close in a non-verbal promise of continued closeness. Alex, once a lone explorer, now part of this extraordinary family, felt ready for whatever came next, his spirit enriched by the night's revelations. The drama of their world awaited, but so did the joy of their shared path, a cosmic romance written in the stars. As morning approached, the group stirred, the bond alerting them to the palace's awakening. But before facing the day, they shared one final, tender moment, a group embrace that reaffirmed their unity, bodies pressing close in a non-verbal promise of continued closeness. Alex, once a lone explorer, now part of this extraordinary family, felt ready for whatever came next, his spirit enriched by the night's revelations. The drama of their world awaited, but so did the joy of their shared path, a cosmic romance written in the stars. Yet, as the first rays of Zenthara's dual suns filtered through the chamber's crystalline windows, casting golden hues over their entwined forms, a subtle dissonance rippled through the bond like a faint static in an otherwise perfect transmission. Alex dismissed it at first, attributing it to the lingering aftereffects of their intense night, but Zira tensed in his arms, her violet eyes flickering with unease. "Do you feel that?" she whispered, her voice barely audible, as if speaking it aloud might summon whatever shadow lurked at the edges of their connection. The sisters shifted, their pointed ears perking in unison, the telepathic link humming with a growing undercurrent of concern. They disentangled slowly, the warmth of their closeness giving way to the cool reality of the day ahead. Alex sat up on the floating bed, rubbing his temples as the static intensified, evolving into fragmented images that flashed unbidden across his mind. Shadowy figures in void black cloaks, whispered chants in an ancient dialect, and a pulsating core not unlike Zenthara's own essence orb, but twisted, corrupted. "It's the raider signal," Nara said softly, her healing hands already reaching out to steady him. But closer now, too close. The room, once a sanctuary of intimacy, now felt charged with an impending storm, the auroras outside paling in comparison to the tension building within. Zira rose gracefully, her white hair tumbling over her shoulders as she summoned a holographic display from a nearby console, her fingers dancing over the runes with practiced urgency. The map materialized, pinpointing the signal's origin, not from some distant outpost or hidden raider vessel, but from deep within the palace itself, pulsing like a heartbeat in the royal vaults below. The revelation sent a chill through Alex, but he pushed it aside, his human resolve kicking in. "We need to investigate now," he urged, slipping into his discarded uniform with a sense of purpose that masked the unease gnawing at him. The sisters nodded, their unity a comforting force as they dressed swiftly, their gauzy attires transforming from symbols of allure to practical garments woven with protective energies. Lyra took command of the logistics, her strategic mind mapping out a path through the palace's labyrinthine underlevels. "We'll go quietly," she said, her tone firm yet laced with the intimacy of their bond. "No alarms, we can't risk alerting the spy." Zara flashed a determined smile, her mischievous spark now a focused gleam, while Vexa conjured subtle illusions to cloak their movements, making them blend into the shadows like ghosts in the machine. As they descended via a hidden lift, the air grew cooler, heavier, infused with the metallic tang of ancient machinery and the faint hum of the planet's core energies. The vaults unfolded before them like a forgotten archive of Zenthara's history, towering shelves lined with crystalline artifacts that glowed faintly, holographic tomes floating in stasis fields, and sealed chambers housing relics from eons past. The bond guided them unerringly toward the signal's source, each step heightening the suspense, the static in Alex's mind growing louder, more insistent. Mira's healing presence kept their nerves steady, her touch on his arm a reminder of the night's closeness, but even she couldn't quell the mounting dread. "This place holds our deepest secrets," Sora murmured, her melodic voice echoing softly off the walls. "If a raider has infiltrated here—" Her words trailed off, but the implication hung heavy, betrayal at the heart of their world. Kale moved ahead, her strength a vanguard, clearing any automated defenses with ease, while Naira's insights probed the ether, seeking mental signatures of intruders. They reached the signal's epicenter, a sealed vault marked with runes of warding, its doors humming with latent power. Elen and Tiva synchronized their efforts, their hands pressing against the panels in perfect harmony, unlocking the mechanisms with a series of melodic chimes. The doors parted with a hiss, revealing a chamber bathed in an eerie, pulsating light from a central pedestal. There, hovering in a containment field, was an artifact unlike any other, a shard of void-black crystal, veined with corrupted essence, emitting the raider signal like a beacon. But as Alex stepped closer, drawn by an inexplicable pull, the static in his mind crescendoed into a roar, and the bond erupted with revelations that shattered everything. In a flash that hit like a supernova, the telepathic link flooded him with buried memories, not his own, but Zira's, hidden deep within the Queen's shared consciousness. He saw it all. Millennia ago, Zenthara's rulers had experimented with void energies to enhance their powers, creating the raiders not as external enemies, but as splintered aspects of their own psyches, dark mirrors born from suppressed ambitions, fears, and desires. The ancient exiles were no invaders. They were manifestations of the Queen's inner turmoil, projected into reality through the planet's essence core. Zira and her sisters had known this all along, using the myth of external threats to justify seeking a consort who could balance their fractured essences. But the powerful twist came in the next wave. Alex wasn't just any human. During his initial teleportation, the bond had scanned his DNA, revealing he was a direct descendant of the last true consort, a human explorer from Earth's early space age who had bonded with a Zenthara queen and left behind a lineage that led straight to him. The abduction wasn't random. It was a calculated retrieval of their lost bloodline, orchestrated to heal the schism without admitting the raiders were internal demons. Alex staggered back, his mind reeling from the surprise, the bond now a torrent of confessions. You knew," he gasped, turning to Zira, whose porcelain face crumpled with vulnerability, tears glistening in her violet eyes for the first time. The sisters froze, their unity cracking under the weight of the truth. Lyra's commanding presence faltered, her voice breaking as she admitted, "We couldn't risk losing you. The raiders aren't just enemies, they are us, amplified by our isolation. Without a consort like you, with your human resilience, we'd tear ourselves apart." Zara's playful facade shattered, revealing raw fear. Nara's calm dissolved into quiet sobs. The artifact on the pedestal pulsed wildly now, responding to the emotional upheaval, shadows coalescing into raider forms that weren't illusions but projections of the Queen's guilt and secrets. The surprise deepened as Alex processed the implications. His role wasn't savior by chance, but by heritage. Flashes of his own forgotten ancestry surged, his unexplained affinity for space, the dreams of alien worlds that had driven him to the stars. "My great-grandfather, the lost expedition," he murmured, piecing it together. The bond confirmed it. That explorer had fathered a child on Zenthara before returning to Earth, his memories erased to protect the secret. Now, Alex was the key to reintegrating the raiders back into the Queen's essences, but it required him to confront and absorb those dark aspects himself, risking his sanity in the process. The chamber trembled, the projections lunging forward with ethereal claws, forcing an immediate confrontation. Ori's fire blazed in defense, but her attacks passed through them harmlessly. These weren't physical foes, but psychological ones. In the midst of the chaos, Alex's human ingenuity shone through the shock. He reached for the artifact, his hands steady despite the betrayal's sting, channeling the bond not to destroy, but to merge. "If they are part of you, then they are part of me now," he declared, his voice cutting through the din with surprising authority. The sisters rallied around him, their touches anchoring him as he delved into the void shard. Visions assaulted him, the Queen's ancient hubris, the creation of the split, the loneliness that had festered into raiders. But Alex's humanity, his capacity for forgiveness, adaptation, and empathy acted as a catalyst, surprising even the essences themselves. The shadows writhed, resisting, but one by one, they dissolved, reintegrating into the bond with bursts of light that illuminated hidden facets of each sister. Lyra's buried doubts, Zara's concealed insecurities, Nara's unspoken sorrows. The process was agonizing, a mental battle that left Alex sweating, his body convulsing as he absorbed the darkness. Zira clung to him, her essence pouring support through the link, whispering apologies and affirmations. "We should have told you," she confessed, the surprise of her own vulnerability adding layers to the twist. Vex's illusions stabilized his mind, creating mental barriers against the overload. Mira's healing mended the psychic wounds in real time. Luna's wit injected moments of levity, even here, flashing humorous distortions of the shadows to weaken their hold. Sora's songs harmonized the chaos, turning discord into melody. Kale's strength bolstered his resolve, Naira's insights guiding him to the core truths. Elen and Tiva's synchronization wove the fragments back together, their unity a blueprint for wholeness. As the last shadow faded, the artifact crumbled to dust, the raider signal vanishing forever. The chamber stabilized, but the true surprise lingered in the aftermath. With the integration complete, the bond evolved, granting Alex not just shared powers, but a profound influence over Zenthara's essence, making him co-ruler in a way no consort had been before. The queens gazed at him with newfound awe, the twist transforming their relationship from one of necessity to genuine equality. "You didn't just save us," Zira said, her voice trembling with emotion. "You remade us." Yet, the revelation carried a bittersweet edge. Alex now carried echoes of their darkness, a human vessel for alien burdens forever changed. The palace above remained oblivious, but down here, in the vaults of secrets, their alliance was reforged in truth. Alex helped Zira to her feet, the bond pulsing with honesty now, no more hidden layers. No more secrets, he said firmly, though a part of him wondered what other surprises the stars held. The sisters embraced him anew, their closeness a balm for the shock, promising a future where humanity's light illuminated even the deepest voids. As they ascended back to the surface, the suns rising fully, Alex felt the weight of his heritage, but also its power, a twist that had turned a diplomat into a legend, binding worlds in ways no one could have foreseen. The integration's aftereffects lingered as they emerged into the palace halls, guards saluting with puzzled expressions at their disheveled state. Alex's mind buzzed with the absorbed knowledge. Fragments of Zenthara's history now his own, ancient pacts with other worlds, lost technologies that could revolutionize the Federation. But the surprise's ripple extended further. Through the bond, he sensed a galactic undercurrent, hints that other planets suffered similar schisms, and Zenthara's raiders had been but one symptom of a larger cosmic imbalance. "This isn't over," he realized aloud, sharing the insight with the queens. Lyra nodded, her strategic mind already plotting alliances. "With you, we can heal more than our world." Yet, the personal twist cut deepest. Alex's Earth life flashed before him, his crew, his home, and he wondered how to reconcile this revelation. Would the Federation accept his dual role or see it as a conflict? Zira squeezed his hand, her presence a steady anchor. "We'll face it together." The day unfolded with council meetings, where the elders were briefed on the raider resolution, their faces paling at the truth but brightening at the stability it brought. Alex stood beside the queens, his input valued as never before, humanity's perspective bridging gaps in their ancient wisdom. As evening fell, they gathered in the throne room, the core orb shining with renewed vigor. The bond thrummed with possibilities, the twist having unlocked potentials, enhanced telepathy that spanned stars, allowing Alex to contact the Odyssey mentally, surprising his crew with updates. "Captain, you're glowing." His first officer stammered through the link. Alex chuckled, the humor returning amid the profundity, but deeper still. The surprise evolved, the integration had awakened latent abilities in him, human-alien hybrids that manifested in subtle ways, heightened intuition, minor energy manipulations. Testing it, he levitated a nearby crystal, eliciting gasps from the sisters. "You're more than descendant," Nara whispered. "You're the evolution." The night brought reflection, the group retiring to chambers where intimacy now carried layers of trust earned through revelation. Alex lay with Zira, her head on his chest, discussing futures, expanding the alliance to Earth, exploring the cosmos as a united front. The twist had surprised, wounded, but ultimately strengthened, turning potential fracture into unbreakable fusion. As sleep claimed them, the bond whispered of adventures ahead, surprises yet to unfold, but with humanity at the helm. The stars seemed brighter, more conquerable. In the quiet hours, Alex dreamed of his ancestor, the explorer whose legacy he now carried, visions blending with Zenthara's history in a tapestry of fate. Awakening refreshed, he knew the powerful twist wasn't an end, but a pivot propelling them toward greater horizons, where surprises awaited, but so did triumphs born of unity. The cosmos, once vast and intimidating, now felt like home, with Zira and her sisters by his side, their love a beacon against any void. As the cosmos, once vast and intimidating, now felt like home, with Zira and her sisters by his side, their love a beacon against any void. Alex allowed himself a moment of quiet contentment in the embrace of the night. But dawn on Zenthara brought no such peace. Instead, it ushered in a whirlwind of council summons and urgent missives that pulled them from the warmth of their chambers into the glaring light of interstellar politics. The palace halls, still bearing faint scars from the recent upheavals, buzzed with activity, guards hurrying with holographic dispatches, elders convening in hushed clusters, and the core orb's renewed glow casting long shadows that seemed to whisper of unfinished business. Zira rose first, her white hair a tousled cascade as she slipped into a flowing robe, her porcelain skin catching the morning light in a way that made Alex's heart skip, even amid the growing tension. "The Federation's envoys are en route," she announced, her voice steady but laced with the drama of impending confrontation. "Your Odyssey has relayed the alliance details, but they've demanded an immediate summit. They sense the shift in you, Alex, and they're not pleased." The sisters stirred around them, their bond pulsing with a collective unease that amplified the drama, turning what could have been a routine meeting into a high-stakes showdown. Lyra, ever the tactician, paced the room, her pointed ears twitching as she mentally mapped out negotiation strategies. "They'll see this as defection," she warned, her tone grave. "A human captain bonded to alien queens? It's unprecedented, and they'll probe for weaknesses." Alex dressed quickly, his mind racing through Federation protocols he'd once upheld with ironclad loyalty, now complicated by the alien energies coursing through him. As they made their way to the throne room, Zara sidled up to him, her mischievous grin attempting to lighten the mood. "Think of it as a family reunion," she teased through the link, projecting a humorous image of stuffy Earth diplomats tripping over Zenthara's floating platforms. Alex chuckled despite himself, but the awkwardness loomed. How do you explain to your superiors that you're now psychically married to 13 ethereal beauties, complete with inherited cosmic powers? The summit commenced via holographic link, the throne room transforming into a nexus of interstellar diplomacy with projections of Federation officials materializing like stern ghosts. Admiral Voss, Alex's grizzled mentor, dominated the display, his bushy eyebrows furrowed in disbelief. "Captain Harlan, report. We've detected anomalous energy signatures from your position, ones matching Zenthara's core. And now this talk of marriage. Explain yourself before I declare this a hostile takeover." The drama heightened instantly, the air thickening as Zira stepped forward, her sisters arraying behind her in a unified front, their curvaceous forms and glowing skin a stark contrast to the uniformed rigidity of the holograms. Alex stood between worlds, literally and figuratively, feeling the pull of the bond urging him to defend their union while his human instincts screamed for caution. "Admiral, it's not what you think," he began, but the words felt clumsy, awkward in their inadequacy. How to convey the intimacy, the revelations, without sounding like he'd lost his mind? As explanations unfolded, the awkward situations piled on like a cosmic comedy of errors. Naira, trying to demonstrate the bond's benefits, accidentally projected a snippet of their integrated memories, flashing a brief, unintended vision of the previous night's closeness to the entire summit. The elders on Zenthara gasped, The sisters flushed a delicate blue, and Admiral Voss's face turned a shade of red that rivaled a supernova. What in the void was that? He bellowed, while his aides averted their eyes, one muttering about inappropriate diplomatic visuals. Alex buried his face in his hands, the drama spiking as he stammered. That was, a technical glitch. Bond feedback loop. Won't happen again. Luna couldn't resist a mental giggle, sharing a humorous caricature of the Admiral's shocked expression through the link, which only made Sora snort aloud, drawing more puzzled stares from the holograms. Human tech meets alien essence, Alex quipped weakly, trying to inject humor to diffuse the tension. It's like mixing coffee with stardust, wakes you up, but might give you visions. Yet, the humor did little to quell the escalating drama. Voss pressed harder, demanding proof that Alex hadn't been coerced or compromised. "Show us these powers you claim," he challenged, his voice dripping with skepticism. Alex, feeling the weight of two worlds on his shoulders, levitated a nearby crystal goblet with a flick of his mind, sending it floating toward the hologram as if offering a toast. The sisters beamed with pride, but the Admiral's response was a dramatic outburst. "Parlor tricks. This could be Zenthara tech manipulating you." The accusation stung, heightening the emotional stakes, Alex's loyalty questioned by the very organization he'd served faithfully. Zira's hand found his, squeezing in support, but through the bond, he felt her own turmoil, fear that this rift could unravel their fragile peace. Ori, her fiery temperament flaring, stepped forward with dramatic intensity. "Your captain is no puppet, he's our equal, our savior, doubt him, and you doubt the alliance that could save your federation from similar shadows." The summit devolved into a tense back and forth, awkward pauses filled with cultural misunderstandings that bordered on the absurd. When Nara attempted to explain the psychological integration of the raiders, using gentle telepathic nudges to convey empathy, one Federation aide yelped, "Mind invasion," prompting Kale to flex her strength subtly, cracking a nearby pillar in frustration, which only escalated the drama further. "Oops," she muttered, her cheeks tinting as the holograms flickered in alarm. Alex jumped in with humor to salvage it. That's just her way of saying she's passionate about the partnership. No pillars were harmed in the making of this alliance, permanently, anyway. The sisters shared a ripple of laughter through the bond, but Voss remained unmoved, his demands growing, full disclosure of Zenthara's tech, Alex's immediate return for debriefing, and scrutiny of the bond itself. As the debate raged, an unexpected awkward situation arose when Alex's first officer, patching in from the Odyssey, accidentally broadcast a ship-wide rumor mill. "Captain, the crew's betting pool on how many queens you..." Never mind." The officer blurted before cutting off, leaving the throne room in stunned silence. Zara burst into giggles, projecting a mental image of Alex as a cosmic Casanova, complete with a cape and floating hearts. "Human mating rituals include wagering? How quaint." She teased aloud, drawing reluctant chuckles even from the elders. But the humor underscored the drama, Alex's personal life now galactic gossip, his dual loyalties pulling him apart like a star in a binary system. Zira, sensing his distress, interjected with regal poise. "This bond isn't chains, it's elevation. Your captain has bridged our worlds, healing fractures you can't yet see, reject it, and you invite the void." The tension peaked when Voss revealed a dramatic ultimatum. "Harlan, you're to board a shuttle and return immediately, or we'll consider this treason. The Federation doesn't share its officers with alien harems." The word harem landed like a photon torpedo, awkward and outdated, eliciting eye rolls from the sisters and a flush from Alex. "It's not like that," he protested, but the bond flooded with their collective indignation, Vex's illusions briefly flickering to show Voss as a comically pompous figure, which Alex had to suppress before it leaked. Humor aside, the drama crested. Alex stood at a crossroads, his heritage demanding he stay, his duty pulling him back. "Admiral, with respect, I'm not just your captain anymore, I'm the key to something bigger." The words hung, dramatic and defiant, as the holograms wavered. In the ensuing standoff, Mira's healing presence calmed the room, her subtle energies easing tempers, but the awkwardness persisted in small ways. Elen and Tiva, in their synchronized innocence, asked Voss about Earth customs mid-argument, "Do your leaders bond with multiple allies too?" prompting a sputtered response that lightened the mood with unintended comedy. "Not exactly," Voss grumbled, while his aides stifled smiles. Alex seized the moment, proposing a compromise, a joint expedition to demonstrate the bond's benefits, exploring a nearby system plagued by similar shadows. The idea heightened the drama, venturing into unknown dangers, but infused with potential for unity. Voss relented grudgingly. Fine, but one wrong move. The link severed, leaving the throne room echoing with relief and residual tension. As the group dispersed to prepare, the awkward situations continued in lighter veins. During a quick meal, Sora's melodic hum accidentally amplified Alex's stray thought about missing Earth pizza, projecting it to the sisters, who then attempted to replicate it with Zenthara ingredients, resulting in a glowing, levitating mess that tasted like stardust gum. Human cuisine is adventurous, Luna quipped, as they all dissolved into laughter, the humor a balm against the drama, but beneath it, the stakes loomed. The expedition would test their bond, expose secrets, and perhaps reveal more galactic fractures. Zira pulled Alex aside, her embrace fierce. Whatever comes, we're in this together. He nodded, the drama of their intertwined fates pulsing through him, awkward entanglements turning into strength, humor weaving through the tension like stars in the night. Preparations intensified, the palace transforming into a hub of activity, ships being outfitted with hybrid tech, crews mingling in cultural exchanges that sparked more awkward hilarity. A Zenthara guard mistaking a human handshake for a bonding ritual, or Federation techs gawking at the sisters' ethereal grace. Alex navigated it all, his enhanced intuition guiding him, but the personal drama gnawed, messages from Earth friends questioning his space vacation, laced with jokes that hit too close. Brought back any souvenirs, like, say, a dozen wives? One teased via comm, he laughed it off, but through the bond, the sisters sensed his turmoil, responding with affectionate reassurances that blended tenderness and playfulness. As launch approached, a final awkward twist arose during a briefing. Naira's insights revealed a potential spy among the Federation delegation, a subtle mental echo of doubt. The drama surged, confront or observe. Alex opted for subtlety, using his new powers to probe gently, uncovering not malice, but fear of the unknown. Human emotions are as complex as ours, he reflected, turning the situation into a teaching moment that eased alliances. Humor crept in when Vexa illusioned the spy's doubts as cartoonish clouds, dispelling them with a wave. Poof, gone, she said, eliciting chuckles. The expedition launched amid fanfare, the fleet slicing through Zenthara's atmosphere, drama building with each star passed. Awkward integrations, human rations clashing with alien feasts, telepathic mishaps sharing embarrassing dreams added levity, but the core mission loomed, confronting the galactic schisms. Alex stood on the bridge, Zira by his side, her hand in his a symbol of their fusion. Ready for more surprises? She asked, her eyes sparkling. He grinned, as long as they come with your company. The stars beckoned, drama, awkwardness, and humor intertwining in their epic tale, humanity's spark lighting the way. 8. The stars beckoned, drama, awkwardness, and humor intertwining in their epic tale, humanity's spark lighting the way as the fleet ventured deeper into the uncharted reaches of the galaxy. Years blurred into a tapestry of triumphs and trials. Each system they encountered a new chapter in their unfolding saga, where Alex's unique bond with Zira and her sisters became the linchpin of cosmic harmony. The expedition, once a tentative compromise born of 10 summits, evolved into a legendary alliance that spanned empires, healing schisms that had plagued worlds for eons. From the fractured nebulae of Urindor, where shadow entities whispered doubts into the minds of inhabitants, to the vibrant clusters of Azurn, alive with beings torn between light and void, their united front proved unbreakable. Alex's human ingenuity, his knack for improvisation, empathy, and unyielding optimism complemented the Queen's ethereal powers, turning potential cataclysms into stories of redemption that echoed across the stars. In the heart of it all was their bond, a living force that grew richer with every shared victory. Zira, with her commanding grace, often stood at the helm during negotiations, her violet eyes steady as she wove treaties that bound fractured societies. But in quieter moments, aboard their flagship, a sleek fusion of Federation steel and Zenthara crystal, she would lean into Alex, her white hair mingling with his as they watched hyperspace streams blur by. "You brought us wholeness," she'd murmur, her essence thrumming through him like a gentle current, reminding him of how far they'd come from that initial abduction. The sisters each carved their roles, Lyra strategizing fleet movements with a precision that turned battles into ballets, Zara injecting levity into dire situations, her mischief diffusing tensions with a well-timed illusion or quip, Nara healing not just bodies, but the psychic wounds of entire populations. Her calm presents a balm that Alex came to rely on during his own moments of doubt. Awkwardness, once a hurdle, became endearing anecdotes they shared over communal meals, human rations blended with Zenthara delicacies, creating hybrids like Stardust tacos that elicited groans and laughter in equal measure. Vex's playful deceptions during joint trainings with Federation crews led to hilarious mishaps, like when she illusioned a drill into a cosmic dance party, leaving admirals bewildered but ultimately charmed. Mira's healing sessions bridged cultural gaps, her touches fostering trust where words failed, while Ori's fiery passion ignited alliances with warrior races, her strength a mirror to Alex's own resilience. Luna's wit turned diplomatic faux pas into opportunities, her quick thinking saving more than one summit from collapse. Sora's melodies wove through their days, harmonizing the fleet's diverse voices into a symphony of unity, and Kale's unyielding protection ensured no threat went unchallenged, her embraces in private a fortress against the void's chill. Naira's insights delved into the minds of allies and adversaries alike, uncovering hidden schisms and guiding resolutions with a wisdom that Alex augmented with his human perspective, reminding everyone that forgiveness wasn't weakness, but the ultimate strength. Elen and Tiva, in their perfect synchronization, coordinated logistics that kept the fleet running smoothly, their dual presence a constant reminder of the beauty in multiplicity. Through it all, Alex navigated the personal dramas, messages from Earth evolving from skepticism to pride, his crew becoming extended family who joked about his royal upgrades during vidcalls. The awkward integration of traditions, Zenthara rituals clashing with human holidays, led to hybrid celebrations, like a Thanksgiving feast under auroral skies, where gratitude flowed as freely as the wine. But the true depth of their journey revealed itself in the quieter evolutions, where drama gave way to profound growth. Alex's inherited powers matured, allowing him to mediate schisms on a galactic scale, absorbing and reintegrating shadows that had sundered civilizations. One pivotal encounter, in the heart of the Nemoris Rift, a swirling vortex of distorted realities, tested them to their core. There, facing a collective of ancient beings whose essences had fragmented into warring factions, Alex dove into the maelstrom, the bond anchoring him as he confronted echoes of universal pain. Zira and the sisters channeled their love through the link, a cascade of emotions that bolstered him. Tenderness from Mira, fire from Ori, harmony from Sora, emerging victorious. The rift stabilized into a bridge between dimensions, a monument to their unity that drew pilgrims from across the stars. Humor threaded through even these epic moments. During a tense standoff with a skeptical empire, Alex's attempt at a cultural gesture, offering a replicated Earth handshake, resulted in a comedic chain reaction when the bond accidentally amplified it, causing a wave of involuntary high fives across the assembly. Human customs, contagious, Zara had quipped, turning potential offense into alliance-sealing laughter. Such instances reminded them that perfection wasn't the goal, connection was, as alliances solidified. The Federation fully embraced the partnership, with Admiral Voss himself attending a ceremonial renewal of vows, his gruff demeanor softening as he raised a toast. To Harlan and his queens, proof that sometimes, the universe needs a little chaos to find order. Time wove their lives into legend. Children born of their union, hybrids of human tenacity and Zenthara grace carrying forward the legacy. These young ones, with pointed ears and eyes that shifted colors like auroras, explored the stars with a curiosity that blended their parents' worlds. Alex watched them grow, his hair now streaked with silver, standing beside Zira on a balcony overlooking a thriving Zenthara, its skies clear of shadows. The sisters surrounded them, their bond an eternal web of love and support, their beauty undiminished by time, each day a new adventure in their shared existence. Drama had forged them, awkwardness had humanized them, humor had sustained them, but it was love profound, multifaceted, unbreakable that defined their story. In the end, as Alex gazed at the cosmos with Zira's hand in his, he reflected on that fateful abduction. Now a cherished origin tale they told around flickering hearths. Humanity's fuck yeah spirit had not conquered through force, but through heart, proving that in the vast expanse, the greatest power was unity born of diversity. The stars, once distant and cold, now twinkled with promise, a canvas for endless stories, and so, their epic continued, not with a close, but with an open horizon, where every dawn held the whisper of new beginnings. their love an eternal light guiding the way for all who dared to reach beyond. And so, as the horizons of the universe expanded before them, Alex and his queens ventured into eternity, their legacy inspiring countless worlds to embrace unity over division, proving that love, in all its forms, could conquer even the darkest voids of space. What an epic journey, right? Personally, I love how this story celebrates humanity's cleverness and heart. Blending romance with sci-fi thrills, it's a reminder that true strength comes from connections. What do you think? Would you accept such a cosmic proposal? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all for watching and joining this adventure. Your likes, subs, comments, and shares mean the world. They fuel us to create even better stories. Hit that button and stay tuned for more.